Should you sell your home to travel full time? For most of us, this is the single most significant decision we have to make when embracing a nomadic lifestyle. When we decided to travel full time, we sold our home and our businesses along with most of our personal stuff. Downsizing from our suburban home in Texas to a sailboat was a monumental task. Today, we are talking about whether you should sell your home, rent it out long term, or turn it into a short term rental like an Airbnb. And stick around to the end to hear my tips on storage units. First, let's talk about the big question. The big question is, are you really ready? Selling your home isn't just a financial consideration, it's an emotional one. When we decided to sell our home, it was a big decision. We had lived in this house for 12 years. We had renovated the house inside and out, doing much of the work ourselves. Every room had our personal stamp on it, and we had lots of memories of our family's life there together. So you have to ask yourself, are you genuinely passionate about becoming a full-time traveler? Are you emotionally ready to detach from having this fixed home? And are you prepared for the psychological shift of not having a home base? I remember one of the first times after we moved out of our house that I'd had a long day and I was tired, and I just had this thought in my mind. I thought, I'm just ready to go home. And then I had to realize that there wasn't a place to go back to. So you really do have to make that mental shift in your mind that you're now a full-time traveler and you don't have a home base. Keep in mind that travel doesn't have to be an all or nothing proposition. You don't have to go all in like we did. Part-time travel is completely valid. Many of the boaters that we know leave their boats here in this area of Guatemala and fly home for part of the year. Many people maintain a home base and they travel seasonally. Our boat neighbors right now, they have a home in Belize and they also have one in Alaska. Your travel style doesn't have to remain the same over time. If it's more comfortable for you to try before you buy, you can do that. And what I mean by that is you can go and travel for a while, keep your home, and then make that decision about selling later on after you know that this is what you really want to continue doing. Now let's talk about your options for your home. First, you can sell your home. You can use it as a long-term rental, or you can use it as a short-term rental. Let's talk about selling first. Some of the pros of selling is it offers complete financial and emotional freedom. You eliminate your mortgage payments, and now you have capital for travel or for purchasing another home internationally. You also eliminate the ongoing cost of home maintenance. And now the cons of selling your home. You may lose potential property value appreciation, and you won't have an immediate fallback location if you need to stop traveling or you want to stop traveling. And of course, there are the emotional attachment issues that we talked about earlier. And right now might not be the perfect time to sell your home on the market. Now let's talk about long-term rental. Some of the benefits of a long-term rental is that it provides you with passive income while you're traveling, but it allows you to keep your property as an asset. And additionally, it does provide a future housing option for you when you stop traveling or if you stop traveling. Some of the downsides of using your property as a long-term rental is that you really, since you're traveling, you're going to need a professional property management company. This is not something that you can do remotely. Additionally, there may be some tax complexities for you because it's no longer your homestead. You're not living there. That will be something that you have to check out with your tax professional. Additionally, there can be potential property damage from renters. And then, of course, you're still going to have the ongoing maintenance responsibilities, even though you're not living there. And finally, let's talk about short-term rental. This can potentially provide higher income than long-term rentals. It's more flexible for your personal use as well. If there are certain weeks of the year that you want to return home, you can certainly do that. Because the rental rates are higher, you can offset your mortgage and travel expenses a little easier. And because you are now using it as a business, there may be potential tax advantages that you can discuss with your professional advisor. Now, some of the downsides of using it as a short-term rental. First, local regulations and restrictions are really going up in this area because so many people have done this with their homes. Additionally, you have a lot higher wear and tear on your property, and it is much more management intensive. You are going to need a local person to handle things for you in your absence and have some trusted contractors that can make repairs at your home. It also requires a lot more active involvement. I've talked to people that do this, and they still have to be in charge of advertising and promoting and answering questions for potential renters. So, why did we sell? Why did we sell instead of renting our home? Well, we were all in on our new life. And for us personally, keeping it would have been an anchor that we didn't want or need. Was it hard? Yes, it was incredibly hard to sell our home. We had spent a lot of time renovating it and making it absolutely and completely ours. And so, yes, it was very hard to let that go. But we don't regret our decision. It was what we needed to do to move forward and embrace the extraordinary life of travel. How long did it take from start to finish? From the time we made the decision until we sold our home and moved out, it was 6 months. And so it was a lot of work to do that in that short amount of time. In order to help you make a decision, I've put together a practical checklist that you can use. First thing you want to do is determine your true travel commitment. How ready are you to travel full time? Is this something that you want to try out first to make sure that you love it? Second thing is you have to assess your financial stability. Do you have a job that you can take with you? Do you have a business that you can take with you? Is there something that you can do to start generating an income? Next, you need to research the rental market in your area and know whether or not you can rent it. You need to know whether or not you're in an area where a house could be used for a short-term rental. You need to talk to your financial advisor. And you need to create a detailed exit strategy that includes your time frame for making this happen. And finally, you need to plan for unexpected scenarios. Like, what if your house doesn't sell right away? And what if you can't get what you need for the property? And what if the property manager that you first hire doesn't work out? And how do you manage things remotely with contractors? Those are all things that you need to take into consideration. One final thought about moving out of your home. It's what I call the storage dilemma. You may find that you either need or want to have a storage unit. Just a few things to keep in mind. First, monthly expenses add up really quickly when you have a storage unit and you keep it for years. The second thing is that you will need to insure the contents of that storage building. Additionally, theft in storage units is incredibly high. We have had things stolen from a storage unit twice, and you are likely to store many things that really you don't need and you will never use again. So the pro tip here is if you can get away without having a storage building at all, do that. If you have to store things, store as little as possible because the point here is to give yourself freedom. As with any big life decision, there are no universal right answers. Your home sale decision is deeply personal and it depends on your unique circumstances, your financial situation, and your travel goals. Travel is both frustrating and rewarding. There are times when I question why we chose to travel, and there are other times when it's amazing and I love it. And sometimes that cycle happens all in one day. If you have your own home selling or travel transition story, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Be sure to catch the next video, which is all about downsizing for travel and how to get rid of your stuff.